I know what the title says, but that's what the name of the list is, not my opinion. Because if you're talking about what I think was the best disc, we would be done after the Wild Honey. But for some reason, the idiots who made this list have it at the 50th spot. Technically, I think this is the most sold discs, so actually, all of you are stupid for not buying more. If I can't convince you, look at what my homie just said after he finally listened to me. You know this list is horrible when right next to the perfect disc, you have shit. No wait, I wouldn't want to offend Poop as I have more respect than I do for people putting with judges. I wish the Roadrunner was lower on this list because it's a good disc that more slower arm speed players should be using. Most of you out there need more understable plastic, and the -4 turn should be helpful. I know the Barsby ones look dope, but they will have a tad bit more fade. I've heard this Frisbee was the quintessential disc that crosses over perfectly between fairway and distance driver. Basically, that means you bitches won't be overpowered by the beauty of this disc. Some of you are disappointed to hear that. I'm surprised the Beast made it here. I didn't think people actually bought these things, just that there were enough lost ones on the course over the years to supply the next clueless dummies. Now, the Thunderbird and I have a weird connection. Mainly because I used to bag one in high school, and every time I think back of then, I want to jump off a building. So yeah, still not the biggest fan of the worst of Innova's legendary birds. I hear the wave is the Wraith for people with lip piercings. One time, I had a wave, and it lasted me one throw. Not sure if that was a sign or what. I'm not sold on this MVP shit yet, but I haven't done one of those 30-day challenges. And I won't, unless someone gives me money. Now the Proxy is low-key a disc I wouldn't mind ending up in my bag. One of the few gyro frisbees I've thrown, and I will admit, they know what they're doing with putters and mids. Also, this happens to be Simon's go-to, so how am I supposed to say anything too bad? Ain't no way if this list was compiled by anyone else would the Aztec be on it. I say that, but it's actually a fire disc that more people should be throwing. The River is one of those discs I've written off for personal reasons. Maybe one day I'll talk about the times I've been scarred, but that's for another day. As for right now, unless you want me to roast the fuck out of you, I advise not to bag. Some locals pronounce this as the Shrieky, and I hate it. You can just throw the Leopard 3. I mean, according to this list, it's better. It's not like I said it. But if you were wondering, yes, this disc is so much better. Looking for a straight mid-range? Well, that's pretty homophobic of you. Here's an understable one instead, so you can diversify your mindset. The fucking pig? Really? How in the hell is there that many of you people out there? I'm sorry if that sounded like I was trying to talk shit, because I wasn't trying. Thumb tracks are top 5 worst things about disc golf. Can't name any of the others, but shit, I know the pig should be on that list, but not really sure how it made it here. Okay, we're back to making sense now. Although I would have expected a classic like the Firebird to be a bit higher. Kinda like the old dudes still flinging their OG CEs. Stop looking for that overstable disc you can rely on. No headwind is too strong or arm too fast to knock out on these bad boys. Arguably the best forehand disc on the market. Go try telling Sexton I'm wrong. God, I'm gonna throw up. You guys seriously disgust me. Why do so many of you want to ruin your game by forcing this disc into your life? The best thing you can do with the Berg is put some dog food on top, then eat it. Because you're dumber than any animal if you think this is going to correct your shitty attempt at throwing putters. I don't care what type of cope you're on. It's time to come back to reality. Or give up. Either works for me. All I heard this year was how the cicadas were going to take over. I didn't think they meant the disc. Mostly because I hadn't heard a single person talk about how they liked this. Not even once. To be honest, up until this ranking, thought it was a mid-range. I would be wrong. It wouldn't be a best list without the AVR. For the sheer fact of the amount of old people that will use their last breath to hype up the most overrated putter in the game. Someone is already commenting how many world champions have blah blah blah. You know how many shitty beginners are using their 138 gram AVR from the starter pack? Everyone knows you prestige once you realize this ain't it. However, should always be a part of a true disc golfer's journey. Kinda like the T-Bird, except that ends when you realize the ones with the 3 at the end are better. But still worth experimenting with. You only know what's good once you've used shit. Not to say the T-Bird is shit, but it's not finding its way into my bag. You know, since it's shit. What's up with the 10-speed theme this year? I guess that's not a bad thing, but definitely feels like a trend. I hear the trail is good for hyzer flips, which is cool for me, but I know you losers got it because it's a part of the Conrad line. Can't blame ya. Hey, remember that Innova starter pack? Some of you people can't move on, and to pair with your DX AVR, you got the Leopard. Now, if that's still in base plastic, we got problems. Instead of upgrading, just get a different mold. It's time to move on, which should be said to lots of you, because you know there's more brands than just Innova, right? Fuck it, I take it back. The Pure? I'm gonna ask the same thing I do to Nate every time he brings it to Putting League. Why? Back to the good stuff. 88% of people that bag a destroyer should have the turn instead. At least those people that maxed out at 250-foot hyzer bombs. I hate when they then go to complain about sucking when the answer is obvious, but they refuse to throw anything else because their ego is bigger than their dick. It was only a matter of time before the time lapse came up, and frankly, 27 isn't where I thought I'd see it. And if you thought the wrong people were throwing destroyers, oh boy did it get so much worse. And no, the solution is not to throw it on a ridiculous amount of Anheuser. Instead, you should try putting the time lapse on the shelf, and forget about it. The Valkyrie is a disc that every year I'm reminded people actually like. I, for one, never got into it. Why, you ask? Well, when I first started playing, I always saw the pro discs fade to the left, and no matter how hard I threw the Valkyrie, it would go to the right, leading 15-year-old me to assume I sucked, or the disc was broken. Never got over that one. Whoa, a Prodigy disc made the list? Ew, and it's the PA3? You guys know you can find like 7 other putters that feel damn near the same? And you know what? You're not good enough to say you can't switch to something else. I do fucks with the Hex. Now I've had 3 of them and I truly only liked one of them, but damn it flew so nice. The Centurion is a sleeper fairway. My buddy used to rock these all day for straight shots that would amaze me. Not for the shot itself, but that he did it with a disc I'd never heard of. Took about a year until I gave it the rightful respect. Personally, never got to try out the Gorgon, and I'm kinda mad about it. I heard lots of disc golfers were enjoying it though, and being at number 22 seems to be popular. If the flight numbers are true, I can see why. Ah yes, the no forehand player's best friend, the Rolo. This disc single-handedly took one of the many holes in Swiss Cheese's game away, and that's a pretty impressive feat. Slowly becoming the best disc to give to a significant other, the rare time you bag hard enough for them to pretend they love you for about 2 holes before the complaining starts. Call me crazy, but do you know anyone bagging this shit? I've never even heard of it, which isn't that hard to believe since it's made by Infinite after all. Another 10-speed though, so all you slow fucks are probably just hopping on the trend. The Mako 3 was my first ever disc, so I'll always have a soft spot for it. Can't say the same about the Crave though. You can't have that bad of a cereal and think I was just gonna accept the disc. I'm sorry, but that's just not how I roll. You know how to spot the most annoying person at League? Just look for the Luna and bang, there you go. At least the glitch didn't make the top 5. Then we would have bigger problems, but I can live with this. A few more years and this fad will be faster than frozen yogurt. Would you look at that? Another Infinite discs on their own list. Do you think that many people are bagging the Dynasty? I don't know if I'm buying it. With the amount of stoners playing disc golf, no shit the Wizard would be this high. Still not as high as the people using it, and probably helps they double down on the disc as a rolling tray, meaning they need to keep getting more and more, which leads to it being number 14 on the list. 7 dudes in a jar of weed are the main reason for that one. The Maya is underrated, so I'm not going to allude to collusion, or the fact that this is like the only spot to buy Infinite discs, so obviously those sales will be inflated. Who cares about that when they're actually kind of good discs? I'm glad to see the Mamba near the top of the list. Most disc golfers don't want to admit they need something more understable, and that -5 turn is enough to dry up any pussy. But hey, the sacrifices you make to throw 300 feet. There was a point in my life I bagged the Tomb. Yeah, I don't like to think about those dark times. Finally, the top 10 best discs of 2024 according to all you, so don't blame me for this shit. Still living off the hangover of the Holy Shot, the Envy will continue to be a popular disc. With the amount of Envy peeps transitioning that only know a max of 3 molds, we'll guarantee an Envy will be in the bag. Is it safe to say the Zona is the best overstable approach disc? Is that a controversial take in 2024, or have we all grown up now? What in the hell? The fucking Sphinx? I wish I could talk about this disc more, but it's the first I'm hearing of it. Numbers look solid, so if anyone's tried it out, let me know in the comments. The Pharaoh is the diet version of the Wraith, but still a solid choice for those not insecure and can admit they need something with a bit more give to achieve further distance. I'm not sure if there will ever be a day the Buzz isn't a top 10 disc. It being number 6 already feels worse than normal. Wouldn't be such a bad thing if you ask me. Kicking off the top 5, you got the most overrated disc in disc golf, and honestly, my true favorite disc, the Destroyer. There's just something about a beat to shit U section Destroyer that I will always fall in love with. Something about used and abused frisbees that will always have my heart. The Alpaca is essentially the old school P2, except way fucking cheaper. So yeah, no surprise to see it in the 4th spot. One day, this might be a much more common putter. Although every brand has their own version, so who really knows? Besides, cheap bastards will always use these bitches. Need some sneaky distance? Check out the Emperor. I had the biggest crush on Kona back in the day, which led me to this disc. But then she had to go and marry Colton, so never will be thrown again. Which is fine because the Wraith is so much better in every possible way. Seriously, if you haven't tried one yet, give it a go and you'll thank me later. Last up, and the so-called best disc of 2024, also happens to be the most bandwagon putting putter, the Pixel. All you MVP cucks made the switch as soon as you can get your little grubby fingers on them. And for what? To still miss putts? Whatever, you're supporting Simon, so I can't really hate. Drop in the comments what you think was really the best disc of 2024, and I'll disagree with you down there. This has become one of my favorite traditions, so to not miss next year's list breakdown, make sure to subscribe and watch the rest of the disc roasting videos all year long.
Damn it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.